Are you all right, folks? Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Perform Better webinar series. We have a pleasure today with us. We have Vince Gabriel. Vince is the owner, founder of Gabriel Fitness in New Jersey. Also founder, owner of um, his marketing group, is founder of KISS Marketing Group. Also, Vince also has a business mastermind of coaches. I believe, Vince, what are we up to now? 150, 160 people in your mastermind
Yeah,
group?
about 150. Yeah.
150. I know it was a great seminar at the beginning of March down in Orlando. You guys, it was a
Yeah, that was fun.
I always tell people you got a great group of owners that are
Thank
part
you.
of your mastermind group. They're
Thank
just
you.
a great group of people, all very knowledgeable and all want to do everything they can to make their gym successful and succeed. So a bunch of great people, and that was a great event. What you did with the wrestling thing was pretty amazing and awesome. That was a fun time.
We had a great time. Yeah, it was fun.
It was a great time. So, without further ado, I want to welcome everyone, Vince Gabriel, and how to get a steady flow of personal training clients that pay more, stay longer, and refer their friends. Take it away, Vince.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you having me. I'm a huge fan of Perform Better and all the work that they do. Obviously, I'll tell you in a second that I started as a gym owner. I was a personal trainer from 2004 to 2008. Worked at a gym called Fitness Quest 10 in San Diego, and then opened my first gym in Berkeley Heights, New Jersey. And I have been a client of Perform Better ever since that day. I buy all of my equipment from Perform Better, and I think in 2000 speaking on their tour, and it's just an honor to be associated with Perform Better. So, really excited to bring this to you. We are on a time crunch. I have my timer set today. My goal is 45 minutes of teaching, 10 to 15 minutes of question and answers. So make sure if you have a question or something like that, you post that there's like a Q&A tab or somewhere in here. I'm not positive. But I'll answer questions at the end. But my goal is to get you out of here by 4 o'clock. Now, normally I do these things. I've been known to go long, 2, 3, sometimes 4 hours at a clip. But I have compacted this down to be as action-packed and value-packed for you guys as possible. So 45 minutes, hold me to it, and then Q&A after that. Okay. I think I see a lot of familiar faces on here, a lot of people that follow myself that I've seen at different events and stuff like that. So I'll do a very brief intro of myself, and then we'll get right into it. So as I said, this is my first gym. It opened in 2008. It still runs today. So I'm sitting and recording this in the back of my current gym, Gabriel Fitness. We basically train adults in a small group format, and then we also have an athlete program called Grit Athlete Performance. Most of my time is spent consulting other gym owners, but this gym still runs today. So a lot of the stuff that I'm teaching you doesn't come from just, the things that I say or come up with in my dreams, but there's stuff that actually I've tried and tested in my own facility, in my own gym. Again, started in '08 and then, had some success and did pretty well. And part of that success got me to sit down and write a bunch of books. So these are all the books I've written. Some of you probably have that book on the top left, The Ultimate Guide to Marketing Your Gym. And actually, my newest book it actually isn't even on here. It's The Ultimate Guide to Small Group Personal Training as well. So that's my most recent book. And then the big thing is that I do and spend the majority of my time is with this group Chris mentioned. This is actually a picture from Orlando. We had our past mastermind, 150 plus gym owners down to Orlando, Florida, where we did a seminar called Gym Business Raw, which was a wrestling theme, but it was all about making money for gym owners. We had Kurt Angle there in person. Chris was there. Chris actually sponsored that we had a WWE themed costume party, and Chris was the sponsor of it and dressed up as Rowdy Roddy Piper, and my wife Vanessa dressed up as Rowdy Roddy Rhonda. So we had a great time, but it was amazing. But this is like my thing that I do all day long is I help gym owners and I help them with business advice. And I'm in the trenches doing this. Yesterday, I spent a full day with a gym owner from Long Island. I'm in the trenches every day helping gym owners make more money and grow their business. So it's super cool that I can take some time away and do this stuff with you guys. But hopefully, you get a couple nuggets. Here's kind of how today is going to go. Again, right into it. One, I'm going to share with you five smart things, uh, maybe the smartest things, I don't know, that you've ever heard about making more money at your gym. Two is I'm going to give you four ways to get more clients that are working now that don't cost a dime to do. Like it's easy for me to go say, oh, go run Facebook ads and go do this. But my goal is to get you ways to get more clients that don't cost you a lot of money that are working right now. So the things I'll teach you come from somewhere, right? They didn't just get evaporated, it didn't just get made up out of thin air. They came from things that have worked at my facility and things that have worked with my clients. And then I'll give you a free gift at the end, and then we'll do some question and answers. So that's kind of our agenda. I'm putting myself on the clock now. This guy named Dan Martell said, I've heard him say this. He didn't probably didn't invent it, but the line is, "It's not what's taught, it's what's caught." So I'm going to teach you a lot of nuggets and things today. Here's my advice: as you're sitting here watching this, take off your, access to email, get off social, and just gonna sit with the notebook. Like just go get a pen and paper, get a notebook, get a pen, and then just lock in with me for 45. Like lock in because I'm gonna teach a lot of things, but it's what you catch and what you write down that you'll probably be able to take action on and implement, right? So get locked in. Seth Godin has two rules for success. One, show up. And many of you did that today. Two is be focused. And you're more focused when you have all your tabs, closed down, your browser's down, your doors closed. So lock in with me for 45 and let's go. Okay. So first smart thing, the numbers are the only truth teller in your business. One of the biggest mistakes I see gym owners do all day long is they run their business on their emotions. They have these thoughts, they have these dreams, they have the aspirations, and at the end of the day, they run away from reality. And the only reality in your business is data, is hard numbers. And man, I have my own story of this where I sat with a consultant and the consultant sat me down and they started asking me all these questions like, "Hey, Vince, what's your cost per lead?" And I was like, "I don't know." They're like, "All right, well, what's the lifetime value of a customer for you?" And I was like, "I don't know that either." And she stood up and she said, "Sorry, Vince, I can't help you. You don't know your numbers." And it was like an eye-opening thing. This is like pretty early in my career. And like ever since that day, I was like, all right, I will know the most important data points that I need to know because it's really the thing when you get in touch with your numbers, it tells you what you need to do. It tells you what you need to focus on. And that's why a lot of people struggle with. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to focus on. Well, these are the things that tell you exactly what you need to do and what you need to focus on. Okay, so I have one little point for you here. These are the most important numbers you need to know. Okay, now these are not finance numbers because a lot of people, hence on, they look at the number of money in their bank account. And this is not to say that you shouldn't look at a profit and loss statement, but what you want to do is you want to focus on the numbers that you can control. And so the numbers you can control are these five numbers right here, whereas you can't necessarily control what happens on a P&L because it's already finished. So these are the numbers that you need to look at on a very, very weekly basis. How many leads you got? How many of those leads came in for a consultation? How many of those consultations came into a membership and what the percentage of that is? What's your churn rate? What's your retention rate? How many clients are you keeping? And then what's your usage rate of the clients you have? How much of your services are they actually using? And these should be looked at on a very, very weekly basis. These things are going to dictate how much money is in your bank account. These things are going to dictate what it says on your profit and loss statement. So instead of looking at your profit and loss statement, and again, you need to look at it and getting all frustrated, like wondering why, focus on this number, these numbers on the front end and look at them on a weekly basis. I instruct my guys to look at it and, every Monday sit down around 10 o'clock and just look at these numbers, find what's off track, find what's off track, and then go from there. But you got to know the data, you got to know the numbers. Number two, if you don't know what you want, no one can help you. So this was said by a Perform Better legend, Thomas Plummer. And Tom told me this a long time ago when I was hired Tom as a consultant. And I was like, oh, I don't really know. And I'm kind of hemming and hawing about, do I want one gym? Do I want two gyms, three gyms, four gyms? And he said this to me. He's like, if you don't know what you want, no one can help you. And I think a lot of people struggle with this. If I was to ask there's hundreds of people on this call. If I was to ask all of you exactly what you want, what are you looking for? What do you want to accomplish? What's success to you? I'm going to guess that many people are not going to have a very, very clear answer. And it gets even lower when you ask people what they want in the long term, meaning, what do you want in 5 years? What do you want in 10 years? So, my view of this is if you know what you want in 5 or 10 years, great, you're ahead of the game. And if you're kind of floundering and struggling of like, I don't really know what I want. I think I want to open up another gym. I think I want to open up my first gym. I think I want to leave the business I'm at. Don't worry about if you're struggling with it, don't worry about what you need to figure out in 10 years or 5 years. Focus on 1 year. Okay, just 1 year. Where do you want to be in 1 year? Every one of you on this call can define exactly where you want to be in 12 months, right? And so you need to do it. Know exactly what you want in 1 year in terms of how much revenue you're making, in terms of how much profit you're making, in terms of how many clients you have, in terms of what your team looks like, in terms of what your schedules looks like. And you can get really granular with this and you can write this out on one sheet of paper and just be like, all right, this is how much money, this is how much profit, this is how many clients I want, this is my team, and this is what I want to be doing all day. And just write that down. And it's like, and now you have something. Now you know what you want and you can work towards something. And here's the thing, if you never figure out what you want in 10 years, if you just do this every year and know what you want in 1 year and string together a good year every year, well, all of a sudden we just put together 10 good years, year after year after year, and now we're going somewhere. But you got to have some clarity around what you want. Number three, deciding who is going to buy a membership at your gym is the most important business decision you can make. It is not the service you offer, the type of training that you do, the facility that you create. It is not that. All that stuff is important. But the most important decision that you can make is who is buying it because the buyer of your stuff is going to dictate the success that you have and really have the success in terms of finances. Okay. And the goal that you want to do is choose clients, okay, that have the money to support your financial goals and learn everything about them. Okay. So the first thing is if you pick people that can only afford $99 a month versus picking people that can, pay five, six, $700 a month. Think of how much faster you're going to be able to get to your financial goals. You need a lot of people at $99 a month for you to get to your financial goals. You need a lot less people that you need to pay you $500 a month. You need a lot less of them, right? So it's a really good business decision to find and build your business around people that have money, wealthy people that are basically, almost appreciative of the investment that they're making in their health. And then the second thing is you need to learn everything about them. I'm not getting into my big marketing strategy. Today, I'm going to give you more tactics. But one of the most important things that you can do as someone that's trying to get new customers is know more about your customers, is to know everything possible about those people. So when you say something in an email, in a Facebook post, whatever, they can read that or watch that and raise their hand and be like, wait, That guy understands me. That guy's talking to me. And then all of a sudden your marketing is going to start, working really, really well. Okay. Number four, in most cases, prices can, and I'll say in most cases, I'll give you the caveat for that in a second. Prices can and should be raised. This is the fastest way to make more money. I had a gym owner in on Monday and he was hurting in terms of profitability and he wanted to make more profit in his business. He had revenue, but he did not have a lot of profit. Right now, we could have cut expenses, we could have cut his salary, we could have cut trainers, all of that. But at the end of the day, the number one thing that we can do and the fastest way that we can do it is to raise prices uh, in most cases. Now, here are the cases where you shouldn't raise prices. You shouldn't raise price if all of a sudden you have a leaking bucket, right? If you have a retention rate that's like 12% or 15% or something and you're losing people fast, you have a product problem and a culture problem more than you have a price problem. So that kind of needs to be fixed before you raise your prices. The second thing is conversion rates. Like if you have a super low conversion rate and you go to raise your prices, it's probably going to make your conversion rate even worse because you're raising your prices more. And typically that's the reason why people don't buy is because of price. So, but in most cases, a lot of you on this call probably have that dialed in pretty good. So you can raise your prices and you should raise your prices. And this whole thing about you not being allowed to raise your prices, that's not a rule that you need to live by. I sure don't. Okay, so raise your prices. And yeah, even on your current members. I'm totally cool with it. I have guys do it in my group every day. Our guys are, and they're reporting back to me how many members churned, one member, two members, three members. This whole thing of like, if I raise my prices, I'm going to lose 50 members. If that happens, and I'm not saying that's not possible, but if that happens, you probably were going to lose most of those people anyway, and they weren't really bought in, and they were just looking at your gym as a commodity more than a relationship. If you're doing a really good job and you're building relationships with people and you're taking care of them and you're really, really putting good people out on the floor to train them, and all of a sudden you go to raise your prices by $3 a session, do you really think that's so? A lot of people do, and a lot of people disagree with me on this. But I've had many, many members do it on current members, and it's like overnight you're going to start making more money. So if you've been afraid to do this, or you're, scared to do it, or whatever, you got to do it the right way. So I will say, if you do it poorly and you do it wrong, that is definitely going to come back to bite you. But if you do it right and you do it with integrity and you've created great relationships, this can be a very, very profitable thing that you do for your company. Last one, use multiple ways to get new clients. You don't want to rely on one way. We see what happens with Facebook, right? All the time. They change the algorithm once, and all of a sudden you're getting $5 leads, and then the next day you're getting $500 leads. You do not want to put all your eggs in one basket. You need multiple ways to generate new leads and new clients. Okay. Very briefly, here's what it could look like. This is just an example. I'm not saying you have to do all this, but this is just an example. So you have a great website that converts, not a great website that looks good. You have a great website that converts. A website should generate leads and customers for you. You could run paid ads on Meta and Google. This is the only time I'm mentioning this, and I'm not saying you have to do this because I want this to be about free ways. But this is a good, if you have the money to invest, this is a good finger on what I call my marketing glove, where you can generate new leads, pretty much while you sleep. But it is not the only way to do it. Number three is a referral system. We'll talk about that later. Number four is joint ventures. We'll talk about that later. And number five is email, right? And so if all of a sudden, think every day of your company's life. There's a website that's kind of floating around on Google. And when people search personal trainer near me, your website comes up, hopefully first. There's paid ads going out all over the place. There is referrals being asked for and campaigns being created around generating referrals. There are, phone calls and conversations that you're having with other local businesses and organizations that are sharing, your stuff with their members and vice versa. And then you're sending emails to your email list again, which we'll talk about later. Um, think of all that. If all that is going on, what's the possibility that you're not going to hit your client goal? Like if all of this is happening and all this is moving and you're putting a lot and you're doing it well, it's going to be a really good result. But you got to get your head around managing this. But my advice to you is don't worry about going to five. Just worry about adding one. So if you're at one, get to two. If you're at two, get to three. If you're at three, get to four. Okay. And then eventually work your way up to that. Okay. Now the rest part of the presentation is just more stuff that you can do to get new clients. So here's four no cost ways to get a steady flow of new clients. I think I'm doing good on time. I know I'm going quickly. If you have questions, post questions in the Q&A, but my goal is to get done at 45. I've got to try. All right, let's go. Hopefully, you guys are writing stuff down. I know I'm moving quickly, but write as much of this possible down and then ask any questions that you can at the end. Okay. So number one, the fortune is in the follow-up. And there's not a lot of cost to go into your past leads, meaning people that have reached out to you and to send them a text message, to send them an email and say, hey, I know you reached out um, and you didn't convert, I could say convert, but you didn't come in, but I'd love to get you in the door. There's no cost to you to do that. And the more you do this and the higher degree that you make this part of your business, money will follow. You will start making more money. So there's fortune in this continual follow-up of the people that used to of the people that reached out. Okay. This is a really good one to write down. Okay. And just kind of let this guide you through your day. The more people you talk to, the more money you make. So if you want to sit in your gym and you want to make more money, the more conversations you have with people, whether that's on the phone, whether that's through text message, whether that's you sending a video back and forth or whatever, the more you do that, the more money you will make. Because there's something called the law of averages, right? And basically the law of averages is the more you do something, the more chances you have, all right, the more likelihood that you'll have successes, right? So if you make 10 calls, there's you're going to get hopefully a percentage, and maybe it's only 10%. Maybe you only may get one person from that. But if you make 100 calls and that same 10%, right? That same 10% is now 10 people. And so you almost have to think about this is like a numbers game. And so if you do this more and more and more, and you make this part of your day, and you make this like an activity where you block time to actually do this and you make more phone calls and you reach out to more people, you will make more money. You do not need a lot of new leads and new campaigns and new this. Like you probably have so much stuff in your pipeline that you can make more money today without spending a dime, another dime on getting a new lead. Okay, so here's what you do. Spend 2 hours a day following up with these four buckets. Okay, 2 hours a day. And maybe it's an hour in the morning or an hour in the evening or 2 hours in the morning or whatever it is, but just like on your calendar, just like block time. I'm going to show you a slide that's you're going to love at the very end. It's it's going to give you the slide at the very end is going to give you 16 things that you can do the kind of engaging under these categories. Okay, so unconverted leads are just people that you didn't convert yet. Past trials are people that came in for a consult that didn't convert. Three is people who engage with you on social. Like, so think about someone that likes your post or someone that comments on one of your posts or someone that even just follows you on social. Like, just reach out to them and just be like, hey, thanks for following. Are you here for the content? Or are you looking for help with your fitness? If you just do that more and more and more and more, you're going to start getting more customers. And then finally, there's past members, people that used to pay you money. Man, these people are right because they already have proven that they're good members. Most people don't leave because they hate you or anything like that. So if you spent 2 hours a day, if on your calendar, if you said, all right, I got 6 sessions a day, I'm gonna train 6 people, and then the other 2 hours are gonna follow up with all these different people. If you do that, you're gonna start making a lot more money. Um, it helps tremendously with this, tremendously, if you have one place where all the leads go. Right. So if you're going and you're trying to follow up with people like, that are all over on post-it notes or cards or whatever, it's going to be very difficult to do. But if you have what's called a CRM, we use something called Convert Cloud, but it basically there's all kinds of different, softwares that you can use. But if you have a good organized software, this becomes much more efficient and much easier to actually do versus if you have stuff. So some of it, what you may need to do is just get a little bit more organized, right? To create what like this incubator, if you will. Like one of the reasons why Amazon can get stuff to you so fast is because they have these like little incubators all over the country. And so for me, like I can order something, in the morning and it gets there in the afternoon because when I order something from Amazon, it's stocked in a place in Maryland and it's like a couple hour drive to get to New Jersey from Maryland. So it gets there in time, right? But if that one incubator was in the middle of the country and it was in, Kansas, it wouldn't get there as fast, right? And so your efficiency is going to improve when you have one place where all the leads are, and then you can organize all the stuff um, back and forth. This last one I'll go into a little bit. So have a strategy to get past members back. 25% of the new clients that my gym gets are past members. Think about that. 25%. Now, obviously, if you haven't been in business for a long time, this is less of an opportunity, if you will. But we have an entire strategy of what we do to get past members back. I'll give you a real basic one. Grab a list of all your past members, all the people that used to pay you money, and then pick five, close your eyes, spin your hand around, and pick 5 people every month. On the first of the month, pick 5 people. And then like just call them up and be like, hey, John, it's Vince. Do you want to see? I know just checking in, seeing how you're doing. Would love to have you come back to GFP. I got a free spot for you for the first 30 days. But yeah, we miss you over here. I want to get you back in the door. Like if all of a sudden, as I said, like these people didn't leave and they hate you. They left because life got in the way. Right. And so, if you have a strategy to do this on a consistent basis, and sometimes it could be as simple as calling 5 to 10 people a month, right? To get your past members back. I mean, we reactivate so many people just from this consistent push on getting past members back. But all of these things kind of go under the category of follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up. Nothing I just shared with you costs you a dime to do. Yes, it is your time, which does cost. But at the end of the day, if you could do this on a consistent basis and you dedicate time and you dedicate energy and you really commit to it, this will be a big piece of your incoming new revenue. Number two, email your list. Now, I don't have a chat here, so I can't really ask you guys if you email your list or you don't. But I will say this is think of the people on your email list. It's a combination of your current customers. It's people that used to pay you money. It's your unconverted leads, the people. Now, hopefully, you have this list, right? But it's people that maybe opted in for something, maybe you ran ads and they opted in for your ads. Maybe you went to a community event and you generated leads at a community event. All of the leads that you've generated in your lifetime should be on your email list. And some of you might have 1,000 person email list, 2,000 person email list, 3,000, 4,000, whatever. Think of it like this, is that list is an auditorium full of people that could potentially be your next customer. And the cool thing about email is that at any time you want, and sometimes twice a day, but most of the time once a day, and most of the time 3 days a week, as you'll see, you can step on stage in that auditorium and you could speak to these people. You could teach them something, could educate them, you could inspire them, whatever. and you can make them an offer. It is your asset. It is one of the most important assets that you own as a business owner is your list of a combination of all the people I just talked about. The problem is most people don't use it. Most people don't use it enough, and most people don't use it very effectively to get a result. But I will say, if this is a skill that you could acquire and you could learn, it will make you a lot of money and help you get a ton more customers. Okay. The second thing is this, is believe that every business owner has a responsibility to get good at marketing. Doesn't mean you have to be the world's best marketer, right? But it does mean that you need to understand it, and it should be something that you do and you focus on. And in most cases, what I advise all my clients is to own the marketing, for their company. And it doesn't mean they need to do it, but they need to own it. I look at you writing an email as you practicing marketing, as you practicing and getting better at it. Most of you are probably going to not write long form sales copy and long sales letters. And most of you are probably going to not write newspaper ads and magazine stuff, although you probably should. Um, but an email is like, sit down for 30 minutes and write a 300 to 500 word email where you can write something to inspire a customer and get them to take action all in the same spot. If you do that week after week after week after week, you are going to start getting better at marketing. You're going to start understanding your customers, and you're going to start understanding what influences people to buy, what influences people to take action. So, if nothing else, think email is practice for getting better at marketing, which is a skill set every business owner needs to have. I believe you should be sending 3 emails a week. That's kind of my sweet spot. Like when I see a gym and they've got a Monday, Wednesday, Friday split or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday split, and they're sending 3 emails a week, I'm very, very happy. It makes me a happy guy. Now I don't want to overwhelm you and be like, I'm sending 0 emails. And now all of a sudden Vince is saying I got to send 3. So here's my ask. One more than what you're currently doing. That you send one more email than what you're currently doing, and then you start to increase to get to that 3 day a week sweet spot. Here's a little structure for you. So your Monday email could be something about mindset or personal development, right? Most of the people, learning from you, they want fitness stuff, but they appreciate becoming a better human and a better person. So maybe it's something about mindset or personal development. Okay, maybe Wednesday it's a testimonial email. You write an email and it's a story about one of your customers, or you could take a Google review and you could copy and paste the Google review into the email and then write a little something. And then Friday, something is about training or nutrition, right? Maybe you write, it's a recipe, maybe it's something about, um, posture or something like that or whatever. But this kind of what to get started with email, what's helpful is to have a structure. Like I know on Monday I'm sending something on personal development. I know on Wednesday I'm sending a testimonial email. I know on Friday I'm doing something. And so it gives you this like framework. This is how I started. I don't do this anymore, but this is how I started, and it was really helpful to send consistent content. But here's one thing that each of these 3 emails need to have, and that is an offer. Yeah, every email we're going to make an offer. And what basically you're going to do is you're going to earn making an offer by providing value. So if I go back, it's like I'm going to give value. I'm going to give them something of value about mindset. I'm going to give them inspiration from the testimonial email. I'm going to give them education through training and nutrition. And then in turn, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it an offer. And it doesn't have to be a hard offer. It could be just something like, P.S. Do you want to get started for free? Reply to this email with free consultation, and we'll take it from there. Right? It doesn't need to be this like blown out thing where you're writing all this stuff. It should be just a very simple, like, hey, just curious, do you want to take the next step? Do you want to come in? And that's an offer, right? And so what you want to do is if we string together more of those, right? So going back to our law of averages, if I send 3 emails a week, right? And all of a sudden I have 3 offers in every email, right? So 52 weeks times, so we say 2 weeks off, 50 weeks. I always do that because I'm bad at math, but that's 150 opportunities a year. 150 opportunities where you put stuff out into the world and you got someone some you gave someone some education and then you gave someone an opportunity, a chance to do business with you. And the law of averages states that the more you do that, the likelihood that you will start getting new customers. Okay. Here's 5 quick ways to grow your email list. Run paid ads. Again, I mentioned that twice again. It's not one of my main things, but paid ads do help, even though this isn't part of it. Joint ventures, community events, events at your gym. I grew my list tremendously by doing events at my gym when I first started. And then organic social with a sell by chat strategy. Those are all ways to grow your email list. Same amount of time. All right, I'm going to build quickly. All right, have a system for referrals. Have a system for referrals. Here's a simple system for you to refer. Most people get referrals by accident. What you want to do is have a predictable, reliable flow of refer clients because we know, I don't have to explain to you guys that refer clients are better than clients you get cold. They're just better. So the simple system is this. One, do stuff that generates referrals. I'm going to give you 3 things right in a second. Two is make that stuff happen on a regular basis. Make it, build it into your business. Make it part of what you do. Okay. Three is reward people who refer. If someone sends you a referral, reward them for it. Give them a gift or whatever you want. And number five is build omnipresence. And this is your gear. This is your logo. This is your hats, your t-shirts. Get your clients to be constantly reminded of your business. Okay. So that's the system. Now, here is the tactics. This is simple. Every time you sign up a new client, what I want you to do is I want you to give them a free 30-day. You don't have to go 30 days if it's 7 days or whatever, but I want you to give them a free gift to give to a friend when they sign up. Okay, so like every time you sit down and a new client signs up with you, you are going to have a process where you pull out your, it might be like a physical card, it might be just a flyer or whatever it is. It should be something physical and be like, hey, I just want to let you know that, anytime we sign up a new member, we give them a gift um, to give to someone else because I know a lot of people like to do this with someone else. And then basically you ask the question like, hey, who would you like to give this to? And it's just like every time. So if you sign up, let's say you sign up 10 new members a month, go back to our law of averages, some themes here, right? Let's say you sign up 10 new members a month. Well, if you do that for 12 months, that's 120 cards that you hit out. What are the chances that you're going to get zero referrals if you hand out of 120 cards? Probably really small. So you're going to get a steady flow. It's the discipline of just showing up and doing this work. Number two is run a bring a friend week every quarter. I got to move quicker. Run a bring a friend week every quarter. This is where you have a campaign. You reach out to your members. You tell your members, hey, next week is bring a friend week. Bring a friend. And then you have a whole week of sessions where you open up the calendar and they can bring friends to. And the last one is make referral generation part of your internal promotions. Right. So if you have any kind of community building things or charity events or seminars, or we just had something called March Madness at our gym, and anything that you're doing internal promotions for your members, make it part of that activity is to bring referrals and for them to bring their friends to those things. So those are 3 different tactical things that you could do to generate referrals. Number 4, this is the last one. Get out in the dang community. You're a community business. You're not an online company. You're not. If you're most of you are brick and mortar gym owners that follow me, okay, you are not an online business. You're belly to belly, brick and mortar, shaking hands. Get out there. Like I'm so tired of these influencers on Instagram saying, just one funnel away from doing it. That's all you need is run this Facebook ad. And it's just like, oh, let's not go to that stupid 5K where there's 500 people in my direct community that live within 1 minute from my gym. Why would I do that? That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. It's like, I don't care if there's 50 people there. If there's 50 people and those are the people that are your customers, like you should be there. You should be doing this stuff. I spent the first 10 years of my business every weekend going to community events. And it's like, it's what built the entire thing. So you got to get out in the dang community and look at that stuff. Okay. What you need to do is you need to build an angel list. Okay. And very quickly, here's what an angel list is. I want you to think about your customers. Okay. Think about the customers that you have in your gym and really think about too the customers that are your best customers. And now I want you to think about other businesses and organizations in your community. And I want you to ask yourself the question, who else has those customers? So I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, okay. Who else has the customers that I have in my gym? Well, there's a yoga studio down the street. Well, there's a salon down the street. Well, there's a business that has 40 employees that do insurance down the street. All of those people that are in charge of that business are an angel for you. They're a person that has the ability to connect you in one shot with a whole bunch of new people. And what I suggest you do is you sit down and you write a list of as many of those things, as many of those people as possible, and then one by one start reaching out to them and create a relationship. Now, here's the big mistake. You're thinking, all right, what can they do for me? What can they send? Think not what they can do for you, but what can you do for them? So we just struck up a really good relationship with a new yoga studio for my gym, and I'll show you the email that we sent them. Okay, here it is. Hey, Janet, congrats on opening the new studio. This is my director wrote this email. I run the show over at Gabriel Fitness in Berkeley Heights. We have about 150 personal training clients that definitely need yoga. Okay, think about that. I'd like to purchase an hour of your time to do a private class for as many members as you can hold in your space. Please let me know the next step, how many of my clients I can bring, and the cost of the private session. Think about that. What does someone that owns a yoga studio want? Well, they want new customers and they want to make more money. And I've just showed up on their doorstep, giving them both of those things. I'm not only going to pay you for the session, but I'm also going to bring 20 potential new clients to your gym. Now, you get a community building event out of it. Yeah, it does cost you a little bit of money, but what are the chances that yoga studio is not going to want to work with you? What are the chances that if you decided to tell them to bring 20 of their people over to your gym and you'll do it for free, that they're not going to do it? You need to start thinking about joint ventures and community things as what can I do for the person? How can I add value? What is the dream come true for them? The dream come true for a new yoga studio is to flood the people with new clients. That's what their dream is. And I just did it for them. So you have to start thinking when you're working in the community of what do the people want? What are the things that they actually want to accomplish? And then go and do that for them. Man, I'm going to be right on time here. This is beautiful. Okay. All right. Here's the last slide. Take a picture of this. You're probably not going to write all these down, but Operation Money Suck is a term I learned from the great John Carlton. And basically what it is it's blocked time on your calendar where you say, I'm going to do things that only bring in the money. That's it. I'm only going to do things that bring in the money. And whether that's get new customers, whether that's make more money from the customers you've got, operation. So these are 16 different activities that you could, I don't know if this is in the way. Let me see if I can, yeah, maybe. This is 16 different activities. So when you're sitting down and you're like, all right, I don't have sessions right now and I want to grow my company, what do I do? Well, this is it. These are the things that you actually can do. And man, I think if you start just doing these things on a regular, I'm giving you the list right here. If you just start doing these things and doing these things on a regular basis, there's a really good chance that you are going to get a lot more clients and make a lot more money. That is 3:45 on the nose. I have a gift for you guys for making it to the end. I have never been on time like that, Chris, ever. If you scan that QR code, you'll get both of my books for free. So the Ultimate Guide to Marketing Your Gym and the Ultimate Guide to Sales for Your Gym. In addition, I'll leave that there for a second. In addition, we also have a seminar coming up, and the seminar is going to be with Perform Better. It's going to be in Providence, Rhode Island, at the world famous Perform Better headquarters. It is going to be for 2 days on May 2nd and 3rd. and I'm going to be teaching there with a couple of my friends. And it's going to be all about business and all about it's pretty much take what I, did today in the 40 magical 45 minutes that I did it in, and then multiply it by 1,000, and then that's what you'll learn. So a lot of the stuff you'll get the how to. I kind of gave you the concepts of a lot of things. I still think you can take a lot of this stuff and go and utilize it. But it's going to be a much deeper dive. If you want info on that seminar, you want to join us, um, scan that QR codes here. A lot of QR codes here. But attend our live event at Perform Better headquarters. Scan that there. That's going to take you right to the Perform Better page, and we're doing a live 2-day workshop from there. So, Chris, am I good to
You,
answer
you
questions?
sure are, Vince. There's some questions in the Q&A down below. Just click that on. Just please just read the question and read the question out loud so people can hear it.
You got it. QA. I don't know why that's not coming up. I'm not seeing the questions come up.
They're right down below your name, Vince. They're right in there. There should be a Q&A box right at the bottom of the banner, the bottom banner, along the bottom banner.
Should I stop the share? Maybe that's
Nope. Um, oh yeah, yeah. Stop your share for the presentation. You see him down there.
there we go. I got it now. Okay, great. Okay, awesome. All right, Will Parker. Thanks for your question, Will. What is the best cost efficient way to get new leads? Well, I I think that you got a lot from today, Will. I think that, obviously the most cost efficient way, and remember, it's like you don't want new leads, you want new customers, right? That's what really want because leads don't actually generate money. Leads are just noise until they actually come in. And so the first thing I would do, Will, is I would really leverage the leads that you already have first, right? The unconverted leads, the past members, and I would go that route first. But the most cost efficient way is going to be social media. I mean, that's like if you're going to look for what you can do for free, social media and and the important thing to do, Will, is pick the right channel, right? What is the channel where your customers hang out? Is that Facebook? Is that Instagram? Is that live events? But it's like finding and starting to think about, all right, these are the customers that I want. These are the people that I'm trying to get in my business. Where do they collect? Where do they hang out? And then go there and then start becoming a regular in that spot. So an example for me is, where are my customers? Well, my customers are gym owners, right? And so I know my customers are on Instagram all the time. They're on Instagram all day long and they're on Facebook all day long. So you'll see, and if you follow me at vgabriel71, you'll see that I'm there all the time. I'm always there. I'm there every day. And so since I'm there every day, we get a lot of new people from those channels and from those platforms. And it doesn't necessarily cost me very much money to do that. It costs me money in production and stuff like that, but it doesn't cost me anything to post on social. So I think social media is a great way to do it. But I think another way would be, connecting with joint ventures, right? It didn't cost me anything, to create a relationship with another business, right? That's very cost efficient to be able to do that. And then you got to find the best ways to work with them. So I think those two, using social media to generate new leads, and then using joint ventures and community relationships. Both of those are going to be no cost ways to generate new leads. Okay. Um, so how to get the website to convert? This is another question from Will. It's a great question, and this is really, really important because your website is this. It's called a high intent platform, right? So when you market on Facebook, you got to think of what you're doing. You're hunting them down, right? You're hunting them down. Um, when you think about a website, someone is searching, either searching you or they are typing things like personal trainer near me, meaning they are looking for your service. They are a high intent buyer, right? And so that's like a really, really important thing to be able to take advantage when someone goes. The worst thing that could ever be done on a website is not to have a place for to capture information. So that's the most important piece of a website is to be able to capture information. And typically that's done with some type of offer, right? That's done with some type of, hey, free consultation, free week trial, free 30 days. And sometimes it's maybe just talk to a trainer. But the goal of your website is not to tell them everything about your product or service. Okay. The goal of your website is to capture their information. And so, even an example of like, should you put price on your website? Yes and no. You should put a price tab on your website because they're interested in it and they'll click it. But the price tab should go to an opt-in form that says something along the lines of, hey, awesome. Love to share the prices with you. Just put your name, email, and phone number in here, and we'll give you a call and tell you the prices. And so now what I'm doing is since I'm using my website as a lead generation tool, I now can follow up with them. Because most of the time, if they go to your website and then they leave and they bounce and they don't give you the contact information, they're probably not coming back. You almost have to build your website with that intention that if they come, they ain't coming back. So those are a couple little tips for you on the website side. Okay. Can you show the 5 ways to grow your list again? I'll just tell it to you. So one was paid ads. That was one. Two was community events, like going out to the local community events and doing that stuff. Three was joint ventures, like make relationships with joint ventures. Four was, hold on, I'm pulling it up here. I don't want to just share the thing back again. Let me pull it up again. So we had joint ventures, we had paid ads, joint ventures, community events, um, events at your gym. So community events and events at your gym are different. Community events are things like you got to a 5K and do it in the community. Events are at your gym if you have a talk on nutrition at your gym and you invite your members and communities. Those are really good lead gen tools. And the last one is organic social with the sell by chat strategy. That was the last one. Those are the five. Okay, I got that one. Um, oh, this was just thanks for the great session. Thanks for the great session. Have to leave. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Evans. Appreciate that. Not a question, but please make your webinars longer instead of rushing through them. It was extremely confusing and difficult to follow. Thank you. Okay. Uh, that's cool. That was a good that was good stuff right there. Um I'm doing well as a solo private personal trader, mostly personal trainer clients in their buildings. How can I generate more clientele on the buildings that I already go to, considering they don't advertise my services? So I guess the question is, um, have you ever asked? So it's like considering they don't let me. So they don't let me advertise my services. So what I would do is I would just go to the areas that are close to there, right? And so if you're doing personal training in a building, well, there's probably buildings that are close to that building that you're at now and that have businesses or organizations that are close to that in proximity to that. And then I would, go and market in those places. The second thing I think you could do is I would just, ask your current people for referrals, right? So, like, if you think about it, you're going to a building, right, where someone lives, right? And so what's the easiest thing to do is go train one door and then go train the next door. And so what I would do is I would have a really good incentivized referral program where you refer your current members to, introduce you to people that live in the same building. And then from there, you can start to almost create like mini little communities in it. And I also think too, because I trained someone that does home. Uh, he does in-home personal training, and what he does is he creates an online community of the in-home people. So all the in-home people that never see each other, but what he does is he does a really good job of creating an online community, right? And so then you can kind of create and build relationships. And I've done this with my gym. I mean, my gym's owners only meet 3 times a year. But man, they do a really good job of getting to know each other just online in our private Facebook group. So you could create an online platform as well for all of your customers. So hopefully that helps. Okay. Um, all right. This is a good question. How can I grow my social media from scratch? I mean, I only have 800 followers and I'm not confident speaking to a camera and exposing myself like that. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to just make a decision, right? The reason why you're not confident is because you probably don't do it that much. That's essentially why would you feel confident in something that you don't normally do? You're going to get confidence in something, the more you do it. So I think it comes back to, um, maybe sucking in the beginning and just being okay with not being good and then just focus on getting better and better and better. If you listen to my podcast, like the first podcast I ever recorded probably wasn't a great podcast. Um, but you know, the most recent one I did was probably pretty good. And it's because I've done, 500 plus episodes over the last year. So I think like whenever you're starting anything new, you got to almost understand that you are going to not be very good at it. And that's okay. And the other thing too is like no one cares. Like if you think about it, like no one really cares. No one cares that you're good. No one cares that you're bad. No one cares because it's like a really freeing mindset to go through life. People are going through their life thinking about themselves and what they want. They're not obsessing over your video and oh, how bad your video was and you only have 800 followers. No one is walking around obsessing about that except you, right? And so you start your social media from scratch by doing one video at a time and getting very clear on who you want to speak to and then doing the best that you can in the beginning and then getting better and better and better over time. That's what it is. So don't worry about being perfect. Don't worry about trying to be, like, comparing yourself to the influencers and stuff like that. And yeah, speaking into a camera is daunting, but you know what? It's going to make your self-belief way better. You're going to believe in yourself more when you start talking to the camera and doing stuff like this. All right. So hopefully that helps. Okay. What was the third low cost way to get a steady flow of clients? I only got one, two, and four. I believe it was the referral one. Let me pull it up. Two was email your list. Three was have a system for referrals. Yeah, it was have a system for referrals. So it was think about, the bring a friend week. Think about the card that you give out when someone signs up for a new membership, giving that to them. But what are you doing specifically to generate referrals? All right, Will's, I'm a strength and conditioning coach. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you liked it, Will. That other guy said it sucked, but I think Will liked it because he wants to view it again later. I'm a strength and conditioning coach in a PT clinic. We do not have memberships and only private, semi-private groups. Any suggestions for my situation? I'm not. I don't have any contacts, Will, to without asking you some questions in return. That's a tough one for me to answer. Maybe just send me an email, and we can maybe talk about it then. Great webinar. Signing off from Flowly Fitness in Scarborough. See, not everyone hated it like that one guy did. Uh, Thank you for your time and this wealth of information. Tremendous help. I'm a personal trainer with FMS1, working with the transition from physical therapy to personal trainer. Um, Now I have a system to put what I do, all from one artist. Thank you. You're welcome, Nate. Amen to the no one cares. Yeah, no one cares. Yeah, no one cares. You're welcome, Catherine. Very good. Okay. I think I got all the questions, Chris, as promised.
Reset again. There's a couple more in there, Vince. Sorry, I think there's two more in there. I think maybe you didn't reset and they just came in late.
Let's see here. How do I reset? Uh, so I have terminal two.
Nope, actually you got them all. They were
I
just
got them all.
thanking. They were just thanking.
Yeah, they were just thank ones.
They were just thanking. Perfect, Vince. Way to
Thanks,
go.
Chris.
Great
I did
job.
it. I did
And you did it. You
it.
did everything. You answered the
That's
questions and you
you
got
put
the
a lot of
presentation
pressure on
within
me.
an
That was
hour.
hard. That was
Nope,
really hard.
that was awesome. Again, guys, for those who want more information on Vince Gabriel, Vince, where can they reach you at?
They can just go to you can get like website stuff, just vincegabriel.com. That's my website. They can get the podcast there. You can follow me on Instagram at vgabriel71. And if you want to email me directly, just shoot me an email, vince at gabrielfitness.com. Happy to chat with you guys. But yeah, I had a great time. That was fun.
Perfect. And we are recording this webinar. It will be up on the Perform Better app. For those that don't know the Perform Better app, it's you can go to the App Store. It's on Android and iPhones. You just download the Perform Better app. It's a free app. You'll see on there. I think we're up over about 5 or 600. I think we're close to 600. I know we're over 500, but there's close to 600 presentations over the last 8 years on there. I
Wow.
think you'll find probably three or four of Vince's previous years of different topics and business presentations. But this presentation will be up on there in about 3 weeks once we can get it ready and we can load it up on there. But also, just a reminder again for Vince's seminar, it is May 2nd and 3rd here in Rhode Island at the Perform Better headquarters. Love to see you there. There's still room available, so please go to the website and sign up. If you want more, if you want 2 days of Vince, and it'll be a great event. But Vince, thank you very much, and thanks for delivering some knowledge bombs out there.
Thanks for having me, Chris. Appreciate it very much. An honor to
Th-
be with you guys.
Thanks, Vince. Have a great day, everyone.
All right. See ya.